What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about the bombshell reports and points of interest reveal for Vondel, a new experience coming in Season 4. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and also let me know in the comment section, what size Battle Royale maps do you like the best? Do you like the Resurgence, small-scaled ones, or do you like the massive ones like Al-Mazrah, Caldera, even Verdansk? Let me know your preference down below in the comments, because we have an interesting situation going on with our new rumored Warzone map, which is essentially all but confirmed at this point, that apparently is going to be a bit of a hybrid between a big BR map and even a Resurgence one. We'll get back to that in a second. But last night, Charlie Intel became a leak account all of a sudden, in which they went ahead and randomly tweeted, Season 4 begins June 14th and will include the new Warzone map, Vondel, which is set in the Netherlands and is developed by Binox per sources. Map will have Resurgence support to start, more info to come. So apparently, other modes will be available on this map, as we'll talk about in a few minutes. But then the points of interest for Vondel also surfaced according to the usual suspects data mine early information for Call of Duty. I guess whatever patch released yesterday for COD 2.0 did feature more information and lines of code for future content to drop in Season 4. The points of interest are as follows. We have Aquarium, City Hall, Fire Station, the Nui Stad Sport, Old Museum, Floating House, University, New Museum, Police Station, Stadium with a winky face. I wonder what that means. Is it a bit of a recreation of the stadium we saw in Verdansk or a different Call of Duty? Cruise Terminal, and even the train station. Now, do remember that this might not be the final list of all points of interest. There could be more, there might even be less. Some of these that were mentioned could already be scrapped, or some of them might not be individual points of interest. Some of these might be names of certain sections of one single point of interest. Take all that with a grain of salt, of course, because you can't believe everything you see on the internet. But with all that in mind, Charlie Intel then followed up by saying that Vondel should also get DMZ support at some point per sources. So if these sources are to be believed from whoever they're in touch with, then that's automatic confirmation that DMZ is not getting any type of Vondel support right away in Season 4, which I'm actually happy with, as I talked about in a previous DMZ video. DMZ just got Koshai Complex and a bunch of other updates with major expansions coming at the start of Season 4 too. I'm totally cool waiting until the mid-Season 4 update or even Season 5 for DMZ support to get added onto Vondel. No issue whatsoever, and if anything, if you look at how Warzone 2 works right now, there's more maps you could play DMZ on than Warzone 2 Battle Royale or Resurgence on, which I think is funny, but I'm totally cool with as well. Since Warzone 2 will get updates forever, DMZ might have an expiration date in terms of support if Outbreak 2.0 takes over next year in place of DMZ. But Charlie Intel continued by saying that Vondel should also have support for Battle Royale mode at some point after its launch per sources, and it would be the first time there is 2 Battle Royale maps in rotation inside of Warzone. And I think that's fair, since Vondel isn't meant to be the Las Almas experience, which apparently is being bundled with Modern Warfare 3's Warzone integration, in which that'll probably be the opportunity when Al-Mazrah gets removed from BR in place of Las Almas, but Al-Mazrah might end up staying for DMZ. I mean, maybe it gets removed entirely, you don't know, but the fact this might be a hybrid type of map that offers both BR and Resurgence shouldn't have to affect Al-Mazrah at all. I think it's totally cool to keep all of the maps in the game at once, but maybe there's statistics behind the scenes that we can't see suggesting that they can't have more than 1 or 2 Warzone maps live at once, or else there's a bit of a problem with the player base. I mean, it's just unclear right now, but like we saw in Warzone 1, there was a rotation between Rebirth and Fortune's Keep, while Verdansk stayed the main map for many years, eventually replaced by Caldera, but at no point in time were there 3 playable maps for more than like a couple of weeks tops. Then there was a rotation between the Resurgence maps, and the big BR map always stayed the same. Now, if you guys are looking for any camo grinding assistance for Polyatomic and Orion, feel free to hit up COD Peter over on Twitter. His link is down below in this video's description. Now, the usual suspects that also leak content, I mentioned that there's multiple versions of the map that exist in the game's files. So we have something called Vondel and something called Floating Bay. Apparently, Vondel is just the regular daytime version of the map for BR and Resurgence, whereas Floating Bay could be a version for Ground War, or could actually be the other version of the same Warzone 2 map. So maybe Vondel is for Resurgence and Floating Bay is for Battle Royale. It's totally unclear, but apparently Ground War support has also been discovered. But then you also look at some other reports that have come out suggesting that a night version of Vondel also exists, and I'm gonna assume maybe and just maybe the night version of Vondel is exclusive for DMZ and won't be the version we see in Battle Royale or Resurgence at all. I'm assuming they'd make the same version available for all playstyles of Battle Royale and Resurgence, all squad sizes too, but DMZ could be where we see an alternative version of that same environment, which spices things up a bit and solves an issue that I talked about before, which is that if you want to reuse environments or reuse maps for different game modes, then at least make the map look different in those other game modes, whether you change the lighting, whether it's the sunset, whether it's NVG, whether you close off certain parts and blow up some other ones. All that does make a bit of a difference to where people feel like they're playing a different map, even though it's the same environment they might have saw in another game mode. Now, we then got this tweet saying that the Warzone 2 map sizes in order are as follows: Al Mazrah, Vondel, then Ashika Island. So that doesn't mean that Vondel is the same size as Al Mazrah, but it's certainly bigger than Ashika Island and just big enough to apparently support regular Battle Royale. I mean, not that we didn't see regular Battle Royale added to a map like Rebirth. That was like an LTM every once in a while. I think Fortune's Keep might have got that as well with its own gulag, but this time around, they're really committed to making sure the map works for all types of experiences and playstyles. So I'm looking forward to see if they're gonna cut pieces off of Vondel for Resurgence and add more to it for Battle Royale. How different could it be even in DMZ? Lots of questions with how this is gonna work, but I don't think it's gonna be as big as Al Mazrah. I think Las Almas is the map to kind of match Al Mazrah in terms of scale, and that map apparently isn't coming until the Modern Warfare 3 integration as previously reported. But then a recap was posted for those out there that were very confused by this report today. Just to recap, since some people are a bit puzzled, Vondel will release with Season 4 for Warzone, and it's made by Beenox. This is Beenox's second map since Rebirth Island, and Las Almas is the Warzone map for Modern Warfare 3, not Modern Warfare 2. If you look at the Activision data breach from many months ago, I think it was back in December, that breach already suggested that a new small-scale map was coming in Season 4, and what do you know, that lined up perfectly, but we weren't able to see what was going to be featured in Season 5 since the leak didn't feature information for the 5th season. It did mention something about a 6th season, though, which I don't think is going to end up happening, but we'll learn more about that in the coming months. But regardless, though, there was never any indication that a big-scale Warzone map was in store for the DLC season of Modern Warfare 2, and it honestly makes sense that it's an environment that has pretty much been done for a while. Many sections of it already exist in Ground War, so it makes for a very easy integration for a game that seems like it didn't have that much development time put into it, which is Modern Warfare 3. Better save that for the fall. I think it's cool if we get at least one more map, which is Vondel here, and that could just get supported over the next season and a half before Modern Warfare 2's life cycle comes to an end. Now, the last thing I want to end with is this. This is something that you're probably going to talk about in the comments anyway, so I might as well bring it up. The idea of quantity over quality. Now, there's going to be folks out there that believe that adding in more Warzone maps isn't going to solve the problem that Warzone 2 has, and the issue actually lies with the foundation, gameplay, and mechanics, and even the movement that exists within Warzone 2. That's a fair opinion. I mean, I have a bit of a different opinion, which is that I like where Warzone 2 is at right now, and the current state of Warzone 2 is where I thought it was going to be day one, considering we had 3 years of Warzone 1, and that was plenty of time for them to kind of calculate what works, what doesn't work, what to kind of build off of when they do a sequel to Warzone. And over at COD Next, I played it, and I thought that the build was very similar to Blackout. It was very different from Warzone 1, but I was on board with it. And there were a lot of changes that I still pointed out that obviously did get implemented over the last couple of seasons, but it still felt like they were playing catch-up with Warzone 2, and they really have been for the last 3.5 seasons. But now that things are getting a bit more stable, I'm cool for more maps to get added, but I also think there has to be even more of a balance in the next season or two where people out there really do feel like they're in a happy place with the game, because if they're not, they don't care how many maps get added to Warzone 2. Have 10 of them playable at once, it won't solve the issue that most people have. And the thing is, I don't share those issues with most of the community. I have a bit of a different opinion, but I do care about what the community wants and what they're thinking, so I just hope a happy medium is found in the next season or so that when new maps do get added in, people get more hype than ever before. But even if Warzone isn't your thing, just keep in mind, DMZ is getting bigger and it's about to change forever again, especially with the launch of Vondel. Now that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the new bombshell reports over from Charlie Intel in regards to our new experience coming in Season 4? We have all the points of interest and specific details about how the modes will be implemented. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.